What's going on, sports fans? On this episode of Cuesta, as you can see, we're on
I'm
video
here.
for this one.
I'm
It
here.
is here when I'm doing the rundown, which is rare. But we talk about the Bleacher Report GOAT bracket, where they take the all-time teams and kind of put them up against each other.
And how bad
Um,
Madden is.
yeah, how we feel about that. We talk about whether or not it is EGaming's time to shine and take over. Dave, you stop. We talk about the Panthers signing Robby Anderson, 2-year, $2 million, how we feel about that as two Jet fans. We talk about whether or not Dak Prescott is worth it, and would you ditch him for Cam Newton if you have the chance as the Cowboys.
You'll hear about that one.
We talk about the 2020 Tokyo Olympics are officially postponed, so we can stop talking about it every week, even though that's kind of bad. That gives us one less thing to talk about now.
That's true.
And we talk about a more serious tone. Karl-Anthony Towns' mom is put into a medically induced coma because she has COVID-19 coronavirus. Father also contracted it as well, but he's recovering. We talk about that. And then we end on a high note with a great story, Robert Kraft and the Patriots getting some masks for Massachusetts. So, Dave, we have a fun show. It gets a little wacky and crazy.
Yes. Oh. Help. I'm trapped. I'm trapped in this virtual space. Get me out.
And I hate David. So hopefully everyone will watch it past this point. Enjoy the show, everybody. What's going on, sports fans? Welcome to an exciting edition of Cuesta Dose, because I think this is the second time ever, Dave, that we are doing a video on YouTube. I think we did it for like the first one or two.
Did it for like the second one or third one.
Yeah, something like that. And then we couldn't do it for a little while because your setup is miserable. You're stuck in a makeshift room of a garage that me and our father put together, I think, to give our sister a room at one point. Or yes. Me. I was in that room for a little while too. So
yes. The fake wall is still here. It still shakes every time you open and close the door.
Listen, that fake wall shouldn't be standing. I don't know.
It works, man. It works.
We like put it up on toothpicks. Anyway.
You can feel it.
But so yeah, for anyone watching on YouTube, I'm making a conscious effort, obviously, to make more videos and stuff. If anyone watched yesterday, I recorded the Sports Opinions podcast with Tracy Walder, who, David, I talked to a spy. It was
I know. That's incredible.
Awesome.
It's incredible. A spy that I'm not going to say tortured.
She, the way she put it,
interrogated.
She didn't even say interrogate. She debriefed.
Debriefed. That's fair. That's fair.
She debriefed. Fair. Anyway,
I'm going to go with that. I don't want to.
Yes.
Anything else I put out there, we're going with debriefed instead.
I mean, she might kill you, so
I would believe it.
But so we're making more of a conscious effort to do some videos so everyone can see how ugly we are. But overall, for those still listening on the podcast, thanks for listening. We always appreciate it. And Dave, we're going to pretend like we're recording this on a Monday and that it's not Thursday, April 2nd.
It really doesn't matter right now. Nothing's happening.
It really doesn't. Now, just a timeline. So Monday, David was dying of sickness, so we didn't record then. Tuesday, we were all set to record. I was putting my daughter down for bed. Didn't think I fell asleep. Woke up at 9:43, which my brother has to be up early. He's a truck driver. I used to have to be up early when I was still working as a construction worker. I'm currently laid off in this whole entire nonsense, but don't worry about me. It's the nature of construction. We'll be back. And then obviously yesterday, Wednesday, did my normal recording with Tracy Walder. And now here we are Thursday. We're going to talk about a lot of hypotheticals in sports because there's not really anything going on in sports. But I told you, Dave, we'll have things to talk about.
No, that's fine. Yeah,
we had this to talk about on Monday.
That's true. That's true. You know, I'm just looking at my background right now. It looks like I'm like in the light of God. Like this is the light at the end of the tunnel. Like I'm right next to it. It just feels like it. I don't like it.
You fight the good fight, Dave.
I
don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Now, Dave, you were trying to show off the shirt. For anyone that's watching, this is the shirt that I got you, Dave, right? Is that the
stand up?
Stand
I have
up.
My PJs on.
I don't care. Stand up. Just endure the suffering. That has multiple meanings now. First of all, it's a Jets, and we know it's a Jets. But then I think it's very fitting right now, Dave.
It kind of is. It kind of is.
Really fitting.
But, yeah. It's unfortunate times. I mean, for me as a truck driver, it's honestly kind of normal, which is pretty weirder. I'm not gonna lie to you.
There's just less people on the road.
Yeah, like watching all of this go down and me still just working like normal. It's eerie. Eerie. I'll put it that way.
That's a good way to put it. That's an adjective I haven't heard used in this, but eerie is probably a solid one.
Yeah.
So, Dave, let's pretend like there's sports going on, and let's talk about some sports stuff.
Well, there is some sports stuff happening. Bleacher Report is doing an all-time Madden GOAT Sims. They're doing all Madden teams, like the best of each position on each team, and they're doing Sims on Madden. And they're doing like each division first, and then they branch out whoever wins and goes through a whole tournament. They're not out of the first round yet. I know that.
They're doing like 4 games a night, 6-minute quarters, like the halftime isn't even played basically. Like it's just running through it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's Madden, so it's not realistic at all, but you get what you get. So it's not bad to watch. I mean, I watched our Jets lose. It's unfortunate.
I watched part of it, and then I saw that I saw Don Maynard went off.
Oh, he went insane.
Him and Namath connected. And, from what I was watching, couldn't get Curtis Martin going, where the Bills, on the other hand, got OJ going pretty damn well.
OJ was going insane. OJ was honestly watching Gastineau and Klecko just get thrown. Like they weren't even there was a little disrespectful, but that's how it kind of went down. Yeah. And I wasn't able to catch mainly any of the other Sims. I'm not going to lie. I'm not the most entirely intrigued because I played Madden so many times. And
I caught a good amount. I catch what I can. I did catch the one with I forget, Master something and Clinton Portis for Cowboys and the Redskins when they played.
Mm-hmm.
Super entertaining to watch 2 guys actually talking about it, and Clinton Portis just dropping all of his knowledge and watching himself run over people and like just his reactions was, and fun fact about Clinton Portis, he said he has never played himself in a Madden game ever.
That's insane. I would think as an athlete, if you're in a game, you kind of want to play as yourself.
Yeah, he said he's never done it because he's like, because if they get me wrong, I'll be pissed. So,
that's true.
And Clinton Portis was damn good.
That's fair. That's the same thing that De'Aaron Fox said about 2K. He said this game's shit. If
De'Aaron Fox is in a 99 speed, then what's the point?
That's true.
Like the man is arguably like there's a few guys that are like 95 to 99 speed, even when they're like, I think D Wade should have still been a 95 even when he was older. Like they're all just so friggin' fast. So, you talked about Gastineau, Klecko. I looked at the rosters. I didn't memorize the rosters, but I looked at a lot of them. Did you look at the rosters as well?
I looked at them briefly. I caught some of the names. I remember I told you guys that I got upset that Darrell Revis was a 94 and Richard Sherman was a 95.
Disrespectful.
I thought that was entirely disrespectful.
And I tweeted out.
The man had a whole island to himself, and you give him a 94.
Out Bleacher Report Gridiron, and
I know you did.
He didn't get a response, but yeah, he shut down Ocho Cinco in his prime, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss on the Patriots when he was going off with Tommy Terrific, Andre Reed, Calvin Johnson. There wasn't a great wide receiver that during a 2-year span that Darrell Revis did not shut down. Shut down Ocho Cinco in 2 consecutive weeks. Once to get into the playoffs and once to advance.
Yep.
So disrespectful. Another thing that I saw disrespectful that I had a big problem. Jamal Anderson was not on the Falcons all-time team. Jamal Anderson is the Dirty Bird.
Yeah.
You might be a little too young to remember the Dirty Bird.
No, I remember it.
It was a dance with the Dirty Bird. This was pre-Vic, but this is when the Falcons were really good. And I think they went to the Super Bowl or were close with Jamal Anderson. The guy had 1,800 yards one season.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Michael Turner as their all-time back, and Michael Turner was not the running back Jamal Anderson was.
Yeah. Those are uniforms I love. Those are the Falcon uniforms I genuinely love. Like if they could go back to those, I'd much rather those.
They are getting new ones, so we shall see.
That's true. The Falcons are getting new ones. Bucks. Yeah. I know a bunch of teams. Aren't like 7 teams at least touching up the uniforms?
We didn't talk about that. Can we touch on this? We're going to get away from the Bleacher Report thing. What the hell were the Rams doing?
Oh, the Rams. Oh, that was disgusting. Eric Dickerson has every right to be a Ram ambassador and say, listen, guys, we need to change this.
That logo? I don't know. Are they going for like the Transformers Rams? Like, what is that? Like, I think the AAF had better logos than that Rams.
No, they 100% did. I don't get how they landed there. But
you think they could have been smart like the Chargers? The Chargers just did some touch-ups. It's generally the same logo.
Yeah,
just
it's fine.
Touch some things up.
Mm-hmm. And I'm fine with the Chargers one.
I hate the Rams right now.
Yeah. No,
Dave, you officially can't become a Rams fan anymore. Like
I'm not going to anymore. It was only that one time. Only a one-time deal.
But you can't go to them ever again with that until that logo's gone.
I wouldn't, even if the Jets made a horrible mistake this time, because they're in LA. No football team in LA should be liked.
Especially not with that logo, Dave.
No. But I will say, if the Bucks do become creamsicle again, it's going to be hard not to even like them a little bit.
If they become creamsicle again without Jameis, we should boycott them.
That is a little unfortunate. But just creamsicle Bucks is one of my favorite uniforms in all of the NFL.
Steve Young and Vinny Testaverde were both creamsicle Bucks. That's all we need to know about life.
It's true.
And they need to bring back, not even if they bring back the creamsicle Bucks, they have to bring back the suave and debonair Buccaneer with the sword in his mouth.
Yeah,
because that guy, he reminded me of Princess Bride.
Yes.
That's exactly who he was. The lead guy from Princess Bride, just with the Buccaneer hat. That's all he was. We got to bring that back. That I'm now creamsicles and Princess Bride Buccaneer logo.
Oh, 100%. I'm very interested in all the logo touch-ups and uniform touch-ups and changes that are happening in the NFL, even with a season that is up in the air right now. I mean, I know they're planning on it, which is, I think, it's the right thing to do. Plan on it. You don't know what's going to happen between now and then. And
they're going to continue with the draft, which I think one thing that we saw with the XFL, you could do the draft virtually. And obviously the NFL will have a better presentation than the XFL did because they were starting. But you could definitely have a successful draft night, with nobody there. Yeah. And with Commissioner Goodell coming out and doing his thing on his own virtually. They'll have millions of watchers. I'll watch the draft.
As long as Goodell is still booed, I just want them to put in a boo button or just have a fake crowd booing him.
Goodell relishes it. I guarantee.
Oh, I know. It's
how
tradition.
You know how they had the "that was easy" button? I guarantee he'll have a button there where he'll press it as he walks up and then he'll stop.
No, that would be incredible. It's really a tradition now. Even if we loved Roger Goodell now, you kind of have to boo him on draft night. It's not even a hate thing anymore.
And it's cool that I appreciate Goodell for that he's a tight ass with some things, but the fact that he can get into that and he smiles and he knows that it's kind of endearing on draft night.
It really is. It's if you have Philly fans booing you, then you're kind of happy about it because Philly fans boo everyone. So at least they respect you if they boo you. That's the whole thing.
That's true. Now, speaking of respect, Dave, I've lost respect for Madden in a way. One thing that I noticed watching these Sims, the look of it, the feel of it, the presentation of it hasn't gotten any better in a decade. The Sim portion. Now, I know the graphics have been touched up. They've obviously gotten better with the generations, but just the way that they play, how stiff it looks, how, 10 years ago, that look was pretty realistic and it was cool. There is no fluidity or realism. And I know it's a game, and I know, but it's it hasn't gotten any better in 10 years with the way the Sims look. It's still very brickish.
No, I completely understand. And the problem is they don't have the time to really make it excellent. That's the main problem. When you have to put it out year after year, they're on that kind of regimen. You don't have the time to really put in all the fluidity. It's mainly an animation game. It's all based on animations, specific animations that happen, and they try to clip them together so they all work. And that's why you see sometimes a guy starts getting taken down, and he maybe gets hit in a certain area, and he actually isn't down.
From Tekken.
Yeah, exactly. He might flip in the air, or he might not actually get taken down. They don't call him down. He keeps running. Everyone runs into him. He's not getting tackled. He just runs to the end zone. Touchdown doesn't even count. Keeps running around, goes in the back of his end zone, and then he gets a touchdown for his team.
Now, this problem, I think, is similar to what fighting games have, where it's just palette swapping. And I think that's part of the issue is they have to do massive palette swaps for similar players and things like that. So it doesn't play very fluid because you're not seeing differences.
Yeah, and that's mainly what it is. Now you see with fighting games and how they're coming out, it's usually at least 2 or 3 years between each fighting game now. And made by the same companies. And most of the time they come out and they're just as good, if not better, and with different things you could do. You know me, I love Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I love Mortal Kombat.
They've been one of the best at not palette swapping. Even back when they had a lot of similar characters, they kind of Once they started to get into the PS3 generation, I feel like the palette swapping got a lot better with.
Yeah, but I mean, it was also 3D, and they weren't very good fighting games. Like, they were fun, but they weren't genuinely good fighting games. When it came to 9...
Well, yeah, Street Fighter still kicked their ass in terms of fighting and
exactly what I'm saying.
Capcom and things like that.
Yeah, because they went to 3D, and it wasn't very good. But when it comes to, like, the way they set up their games, since they have so many years to work between them, they can go through everything they need to do in order to realize how good the game can become.
And Madden, because Ed Boon takes greatness.
Oh. Exactly. Madden, 2K, FIFA, NHL. You'll get, like, there will be years where the game's fantastic. Like, they somehow broke into it. They did everything right. And it's so much fun to play. But then the next year, it's terrible. And you're just like, what the hell happened here?
Now, one thing that pisses me off that I don't know if they fixed it for a little while and they didn't. What is up with the code for the Houston Texans helmets that for some reason
up? I don't know.
This happened when Houston became a franchise, when they were an expansion team. You notice this happening. They were the default sideline helmet. And then I think it went away for a few years. And for whatever reason, and this is embarrassing for Madden 20, that in a massive, really highly marketed Bleacher Report sim, the Texans helmets are on every single team on the sideline.
I first saw the helmet. I was like, I didn't even realize it was a Texans helmet. I just saw like blue and red. I was like, what helmet is that? And then I saw it was
a generic helmet. It's the actual Texans helmet.
And then I saw it spanning and I saw the Texans logo. I'm like, what? I was like, how did that like, what did they do? But this is the problem.
That's terrible coding. That is bad coding.
Well, no, I always said that if they were given the time for, like, let's say for a year, they just say, okay, listen, we want to give you a good game. So we're going to update the rosters on this game the next year. Everything's going to be updated. All the overalls are going to be updated, even though I don't like how they do their overalls, but whatever. And and all their badges and everything now, it's all going to be updated this year. The year after, we're going to give you our best Madden yet.
So do you think if they do every 2 years, we'd see more improvements?
Yes, 100%. 100% we will see more improvements. You have more time to work on your craft. You have more time to understand how these things could work out in this game. You have a lot more time to test it. You don't really have time to test it in a year. You have a base, and then you work off that, and you try to add things. Like, they added all these playmaking abilities to this one, which I kind of like. Some of them are a little broken.
Jackson. It was for Lamar Jackson.
No, it was for Patty. No, it was for Patty. It was for Patty Mahomes.
It was for Patty, but it also makes Lamar a playable quarterback.
Yeah. But I liked some of the additions. I really wish they went back to like a superstar mode that was in like Madden 06.
Yeah,
I remember that one I loved. Where you picked your parents and then you found out like what kind of abilities you had through them. I don't know. There's something about it that I loved. And you had the camera.
Yeah, you enjoy stereotypes.
Shut up. And you focused your camera on your guy. Like, if you're a wide receiver, you were focused on your wide receiver. You weren't still a quarterback.
Now, Dave, do you want to bring in QB Vision? You want to bring QB Vision back?
No, we're not going to talk
about it.
We're not going to talk about it.
I used to love holding it like all the way to the left and trying to throw to a guy to the right, and it would end up in like Port St. Lucie somewhere. Like, but that would be nowhere. So we kind of branched into our next topic.
Yeah, we did.
Where, we become a gaming podcast, but for the main reason is this has to be the time where esports and e-gaming, takes everything by the balls, because the sports are gone. This is the time where not just Madden, not just 2K, but your League of Legends, your Overwatch, your other leagues that have big tournaments, that have massive followings, that if you're on Twitch, if you're on Mixer, these big time streamers have thousands of people watching them at a time. This has to be the time where someone with a deep pocket that runs a tournament decides, let's do this. Let's go big time. Let's take a chance. Because this might be the only chance we have. And this is the audience too, Dave. Your age group, my age group, we're hungry for sports.
I mean, the thing is, it's already a crazy growing audience. And you could definitely see someone like really invest into it in this time specifically.
Elon Musk, where you at?
Elon's dealing with everything else right now. He's becoming a savior.
Do it.
But no, I mean, we may see just more people just generally go there in this time of need for entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the virtual NASCAR race. People watched that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that was fun to watch. So people are understanding that these virtual things, Madden 2K to me, it won't work because it's not close enough.
That's the whole thing. 2K, at least you can take 10 different people and kind of network them, and it's a lot easier to network 10.
That's fun.
You're not networking 22 people.
Yeah. Well, my
Plus
whole thing
special
is,
teams. Like,
yeah, no. But my whole thing is like, if you really want to see like a football game or a basketball game or something like that, it's not the same with Madden and 2K and all those games.
Now, will this get better? Obviously, like, this pandemic is awful, but it happened at a time where we're still in the infancy of VR. If VR was a thing, if we really had that ability to do VR, would this be a better situation? If VR is still in its infancy, we have the Oculus Rift, but if Ready Player Go, things like that, if that was a legitimate thing,
talking about Ready Player One, you dummy.
Ready Player One, yeah.
Anyway,
surrogates, things like that. If that was legitimate, would we be having a different conversation?
If VR was a common thing, we wouldn't need to talk to people about social distancing. I don't know if you experienced VR before.
No,
I have. I always wanted to, and I finally did when I visited my friend. When did you do this? When I visited Scott in Virginia.
He has an Oculus?
Yeah, he has an Oculus. He has everything set up.
Scott, I hate you.
I played Beat Saber. I played all the games I wanted to play. Dude, it's a feeling that you've never – you're actually in another world. Like, you come out of it, and it feels different. I mean, you can hear people around you if you truly want to, but, like, you're just in there. You feel it. It's completely – you have to understand it. I always go back to the video of these people put a plank down, and you saw the plank before you walked up, but they said they put on this VR helmet for you, and it showed an apple.
Cliff.
Yeah, it was an apple on the end of a building, and you had to walk that plank to go get the apple at the end of a skyscraper. And these people were terrified. You knew you were on a plank that's on the floor, but you're terrified because you're actually immersed in that world.
It's the mind over matter. Dave, do you remember the game Mirror's Edge? Could you imagine playing Mirror's Edge on VR?
Oh, that would be incredible.
Where it was basically all free running on cliffs and not cliffs, free running on skyscrapers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Half-Life just came out with the game, Half-Life Alyx for VR. I heard that's amazing.
Well, yeah, because they won't make a Half-Life 3, so they have to make a Half-Life with something else.
That's true, but jerks. Still. But anyway.
Valve, you're a bunch of jerks, you genius jerks. All of you.
But anyway, if we're straight too far from the point, yes, this is EGaming's time to really collect more viewers, collect more people that at least give it the chance to watch when it's on. I mean, I still don't think people that are very into sports are going to venture over to watch esports instead of sports.
Why? Because our age group, but me and you, we're about an 8-year age gap. So, but that age group between like the 10 years that we're like encompassing me and you, we're the gaming generation. And me and you are mega sports fans, and we also like watching Twitch, and we like watching gaming. And a lot of people in our generation, that's millions of people, Dave, that I think would, especially in this time right now, wouldn't have a problem sitting there. And I'm curious, where's the G4 channel popping back up and just putting on massive Call of Duty tournaments, which people watch anyway?
You wish, man. That was fun. But see, the thing is, I love watching people play games. I watch on YouTube all the time and stuff. But I love it because I used to watch you play. I was a little brother, and I used to watch you play games, so I'm used to watching people play games.
For some reason, I have a weakness for Soul Calibur. If you give me a Soul Calibur tournament of great Soul Calibur players,
it's so much fun.
Or King of Fighters, like, I'm in.
Yeah. Oh, it's so much fun. But to get on that, what I was saying is that if you,
Dave, I lost you. I lost your voice. I can't hear you. Where'd you go? I miss you so. It's like it's been forever since you've been home. Where'd you go?
Hello?
Ah, you're back.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to cut that out because I was singing to you.
Please cut that out. No one wants to hear you.
I think I'm keeping that in there. Anyway. Okay. So you were talking about being a little brother watching me play.
Now, I was saying that if you predominantly watch sports, even though there is a time now to watch esports, I don't think that's going to get you to choose esports over sports in the future. Like, you may put it on if it's on and nothing else is on, but it's not going to garner your attention enough to drive you away from maybe a game you might not care about. Like you're in the middle of baseball season. I don't know if you're still going to drive over to that esport channel instead of just sticking to watching whatever your favorite team is.
Now, does this have to do with marketing as well, though? Is this, if they started to get Bud Light to support an esport tournament, and Bud Light is now sponsoring it, and they're a massive person, they're putting on these commercials, and you have Ninja, who is probably the biggest known name in esports for the common person. They have him participating in any sort of facet. Would that kind of change? Because I look at the progression of MMA. UFC was kind of a whatever thing when it first started. It was a big tournament. It was fun. Guys beat the hell out of each other. There's a lot of blood. Cool. Marketing is what made UFC UFC. You know, there was some great fighters and things like that, but it was really Dana White working on the marketing aspect.
I definitely agree with that. It's just, I find it hard to market. It's going to be really hard to market the gaming league without also pissing off some gamers. I'm not going to lie to you, because you really gotta enjoy it. I don't think Bud Light's really gonna bring people over. Like, I don't think things like that are gonna bring. You have to like it. And the good thing is, though, is that really each generation is liking games more in general, even if it's just mobile games.
Now, is this kind of the argument of like kind of selling out? Like, people right now are still playing and competing hard for the love of it.
That's really what it would be. It'd be kind of like selling out. Like, if you saw a gaming league try to bring people over by marketing with Bud Light, maybe you drop like like another gaming studio's a sponsorship or whatever, and you try to market to another, try to garner fans with with Bud Light or something like that, or anything else. It's just gonna look wrong. Like, it's just like, what are you doing? Like, you already have your fan base here. We're already huge. Why?
Let's do it with Mellow Yellow. I feel like Mellow Yellow would do very well with the gamer fan base.
Mountain Dew and Doritos.
Mountain Dew, Doritos, Mellow Yellow.
Already it.
Hey, listen, do better. Get bigger. All right, so...
All right. Enough on EGaming. We talked a lot about that. I talked pretty long about that one.
That's fine by me. What else is there to talk about, Dave?
Well, one thing that did happen that's important to us as Jets fans is Robby Anderson ended up signing with the Carolina Panthers. I believe on a 2-year, $20 million deal. I'm sad to see him go.
Yep.
Sun God. Loved Robby Anderson. I mean, I know he had his faults, but he still could take the top off of any team, and he was really fun to watch play.
Yep.
So I hope he does well in Carolina with Teddy or PJ, whoever ends up throwing to him. And I wish we could have had him back, but hope he does well.
I'm going to miss Robby as well. Like you said, he had his faults. He fumbled a lot. He had his emotionals, but the guy was always invested in the game. He wanted to win, and you could see it. And it's kind of, he had the OBJ effect to a much less degree, where his antics were because of his passion and not necessarily because of him wanting to be a distraction. Yeah. So, gonna miss Robby. 2 years for 2 years and $20 million, though I won't miss him too much. I wasn't willing to pay more than 14 or 12 for 2 years for him. So I'm happy for him.
It. Yeah, I'm happy
he's
for him
getting
too.
2 year $20 million.
Get your money, man.
Hell yeah.
Get your money when you're in the league. And I think the main thing that hurts is that he was a homegrown guy.
Yes.
So it always hurts.
An undrafted kid that the Jets just grabbed, and
he took a chance on him and it worked.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It really did work.
Now, what have you felt about Joe Douglas's response, getting Doxson, picking up Berrien, or who is it? Perriman. Yeah, Rashawn Perriman. I mixed up his first initial and his last name. Rashawn Perriman, and now being set up at number 11 to either get, one of the three big needs. If there's a great lineman, if there's a great pass rusher, if a wide receiver is there, what Joe Douglas has done is kind of set himself up to pick the best of those three that's available.
Yeah.
Do you think what he's done at the wide receiver core currently, if he doesn't go wide receiver in that first round, or maybe not even in the top part of the draft at all, is our receiving core good enough with Anunwa, Crowder, Doxson, and Perriman there as the top four, with Smith, who emerged last year as a pretty decent player, Berrios, who wasn't awful, being underneath? There's 6 guys that, play at a pro level there. Some very good. Are they good enough, or do we really need that number one guy?
I'm not going to lie to you. I really wanted a number one guy for me as an offense, you need a number one guy to always take some kind of pressure off your other wide receivers, because your slot wide receiver has a much easier time getting underneath if that number one guy is out there. But when it comes, I think Joe Douglas is really working on this for Adam Gase's style. Adam Gase really likes quick wide receivers. You could see he didn't use Devontae Parker too much. Devontae Parker is more of a number one guy in Miami. He's very good.
Quick question. Are we going to add Le'Veon Bell to this receiving core in a way? Because we know if there's time there and you throw Lev in, God, Lev is a number one on a lot of teams. The guy can catch 100 balls in a year.
Yeah, he's terrifying. So I think the way I normally look at a wide receiving core, I don't love it. But the way that it might work in Adam Gase's scheme, I think that's what Joe Douglas is working for. And I appreciate that, because as a GM, you have to know what coach you're getting for.
Now, if Quincy Enunwa was healthy for 16 games, does that change your opinion? If I can guarantee you that we have Quincy Enunwa at Quincy Enunwa level,
then I like it, because I really love Q.
Is he kind of not a bona fide one, but a good enough one?
He is good enough, mainly because we haven't seen everything from Q, but we know what he can do after the catch, and we know how he can get up there and make any play.
Because then you have your possession guy in Crowder, you have your two speedsters in Doxson and Perriman, and then you have Herndon and Griffin as the tight ends. Like, there are weapons here where I think if you're looking at it from Joe Douglas, Herndon can become a very good tight end. Griffin was a very good tight end before he got hurt. Both of those guys were good. And now he has pros at the receiving level where they can all get their separation on their own. He has Le'Veon Bell. He's probably looking at it going, we can sit on this for a year and be really good. If the guy's not there.
We could be good enough. Sam has to show up. That's the whole thing. Yes. If Sam shows up, this receiving core is going to look very good, because I think Joe Douglas did excellently with the line. We're going to actually have people fighting for spots on the line instead of just saying, we need to plug him in.
That's awesome.
The whole thing is, like, when you mentioned Q with the wide receiving core in the first place, I kind of disregard him right now because he's not healthy yet. He's not fully healthy yet.
I'm on record saying that Enunwa shouldn't play football again. Hey, I'm on record saying that because I fear for the guy's life.
I understand.
Honestly.
And the same thing I said to you is, like, if he wants to play, Joe Douglas is going to give him the chance to play. And I understand that completely. And I want him back. If he's fully healthy, I want him playing, because I know how good he can be. Yeah. And if he wants to play, I want him to play. But I think it can work out for us with Adam Gase's, if Gase's scheme works. I mean, my full trust is not in Gase.
In defense of Gase, and I defended him before, Ryan Tannehill's statistical best season was his healthy season under Adam Gase, even last year considering. And Sam Darnold progressed under a new system with better statistics in his second year last year.
Oh yeah,
the guy can coach offense.
100%, he can, and
he never has luck with health.
That is true. That is true. It's just there's something about Gase that doesn't have my full trust in him. Yeah, maybe it's his eyes, but I don't have my full trust in him. But I know he can do good things. Yeah, no, it's weird, but I know he can do good things, and he deserves that shot.
And honestly, Sam Darnold could throw 30 interceptions, and they could still win 8 games because Greg Williams is terrifying with his defense.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Anyway, I hope he doesn't throw 30. I'll be so sad. So we're going to move on to another team that is in a weird spot. The Cowboys last year were considered by a lot of people a potential Super Bowl team, me included.
Yeah, I know you do.
Me included. They have the talent. And this kind of works to our favor. We're about to talk about this because ESPN just broke a little thing because ESPN's searching for stories as well. Dez Bryant put up a picture on Twitter following a great workout with Dak Prescott. So this is going to add to this a little bit, Dave. Is Dez on his way back? Jerry Jones said Jerry Jones said he'd be open to it. Dez on Twitter has been funny as hell on Twitter. He's like, let's go. You put Dez there with Amari Cooper. That's a good one too. And you still have Butler there, who's a good player there. That could be interesting. What would you feel about Dez coming back to that team before we get on to the other topics?
I mean, I always liked Dez. He did catch it. But I always liked Dez, and I would like him to see him just back in the league in general. I hope he's still good enough at least, but I would assume he is. Yeah, at least for a season.
But so we'll go on to the actual topic at hand because I thought that was just a cool little tidbit.
Oh, yeah, it was fun. Throw up the X.
So speaking of Prescott, Dak Prescott there, the Cowboys got conditional or what something franchise. I had a weird name with
franchise
it.
Tag.
Yeah, he had franchise tag. And they're still working on a deal. Now, God knows what the holdup is. I think it's the years or whatever. But interestingly enough, Cam Newton became available. That got me thinking, Dave. Would you, because Newton is not going to be able to demand the price tag that Dak Prescott's going to demand. He is a former MVP. You know the talent that Cam Newton can be if he is a healthy man. Travis Frederick did retire, so that does hurt the offensive line. But that Cowboys line is still very good. If you're the Joneses and Prescott's still playing hardball, do you turn to him and go, listen, we're going to sign Cam, and you're going to sit your ass on that bench with this franchise tag, or we're going to move you? Either one. Do you take that chance with Newton?
No. No. I love Cam Newton. I legitimately love Cam Newton. I love the way he plays. I know everyone's going to turn to that fumble in the Super Bowl. Stop, please. I understand. He didn't jump for the ball. I'm not going to lie to you. At this point, I don't care too much because he led that team to a ridiculous season and put up crazy numbers. So stop.
But anyway, Christian McCaffrey that year, they're the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, no. You don't do that. Dak's been your guy. Dak had a fantastic year last year.
But in terms of what Newton can do versus Dak at his best,
the question mark on Newton right now, I understand what he can do when he's healthy. He looks like he's very ready.
Yeah.
But you cannot give away the guy that's proven to you he can do this. He can. I believe Dak can do it. He's good enough. So I'm not going to throw that guy away, even with these contract talks getting all muddy. I think Dak is still going to come down to whatever you might want. You guys are going to reach it, and you're going to be able to get that contract. I'm not going to throw him away for Cam when I don't know if Cam's going to bring me something close to that MVP-like season.
See, I don't know. I'm looking at it this way. I just paid Amari Cooper $100 million.
That's your fault.
I'm going to have to franchise Zeke because I'm not going to be able to afford him and what he's going to want.
I have no idea why in the hell you pay Amari Cooper $100 million. He's not that good. I'm sorry to tell you this.
Because I have no idea either, but it's the reality.
You put yourself in this position.
But the thing is, too, you got to look at the window of Zeke. And now Travis Frederick just retired on you. That offensive line's window is closing. They just signed Aldon Smith, which is a good sign, but he hasn't played since 2015. You don't know what he's going to be coming back into the league. So I would go with the chance of an MVP caliber guy because I don't know if Dak at his best is good enough to lead this team. I know Cam Newton can carry mediocre or just above average teams to Super Bowls, but I don't think Dak Prescott is the guy that carries anybody. Zeke carries this offense, not Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott puts up numbers, but Zeke carries the offense.
No, and I know that. I know that. But I'm sorry I'm not giving away who is supposed to be my franchise guy for someone who I do not know what the results are going to be with. I can't do that. As Jerry Jones, you've built this team up. You were, like you said, supposed to be a Super Bowl contender last year. You flubbed that terribly. Somehow don't even make the playoffs to an Eagles team that had 2 wide receivers and 4 other people that they found on the street. I don't get it. Yeah, I just don't get it. So I'm not making that move after that year. You can't do it. You cannot do it.
I'm Jerry Jones. Put the dice in my hands. I'm rolling them. Put the dice in my hands. I'm rolling them.
I hope Cam finds a home where he becomes a starter soon because I know if he's even 80% of what he was, he's going to become a starter and he'll play very well. But I just don't think the Cowboys need to make that move.
That's going to be interesting. We're going to move off football for something else that's interesting. Dave, it's official. It's official, and I don't think we're going to have to talk about the Olympics for a long time now.
Yeah.
It's officially postponed.
Yeah.
2020 Olympics are off. We don't get to see one of the greatest sporting events this year. It's officially postponed for opening ceremony July 23rd, 2021. Japan might be screwed. This is possibly going to cost them $2.7 billion economically because they built up and they were ready.
Yeah, I know.
And I understand why they wanted to have this because these big events, these World Cups, these Olympics, gut nations. economically. It's just a known fact that they destroy them and they have to recover. There's always a mini recession for every nation that has this. Besides a few, there's a very slim few that their economies are good enough.
Yeah.
But they could be screwed. The opening ceremony, a lot of people were happy it's pushed back. I'm pretty relieved. The GOAT Ashton Eaton spoke. We talked about that last time, saying, I'll push it back. How do you feel about them officially doing it? Is this the right move with all the COVID-19 stuff?
I mean, you kind of had to. It's unfortunate. No one wants to see it postponed. It's the Olympics. Everyone loves the Olympics in some variety. Yeah. You don't want to see it postponed, but you kind of had to.
I like waking up at like 3:30 in the morning and watching the race walk.
Exactly. Like you could just that's the thing. You could just randomly wake up. You can't get back to sleep, and then this random Olympic event's on is like, you know what? It's good enough for me. That it's unfortunate that it had to be postponed, but it had to be. I agree with their decision, and Japan's just going to be just fine. They're just going to infiltrate us with a more anime and stuff, and they'll be all right.
They're Americanized as it is, so they'll be fine. Yeah, exactly. It's the right move. It's what they had to do, and part of me is pretty happy that we're not talking about the Olympics anymore because the Olympics aren't actually happening, and we weren't actually talking about the sports. We were talking about whether or not they were going to get canceled. So I'm cool with moving off from this topic and not talking about it for like another year.
I'm just sad that we can't hear from Dick Pound anymore. That's the only bad, like really bad thing about this.
I might research just like a Dick Pound quote a week so we can have a quote of the week by Dick Pound.
You know what? Be perfectly fine with that.
That might have to be a thing. We should end each show with a quote from Dick Pound.
That would be incredible. But
I think while you're introducing this topic, I might look up a quote from Dick Pound right now.
Well, unfortunately, we have to move from something that is kind of funny to something that is very somber. Yes. Karl-Anthony Towns' mom is in a medically induced coma due to COVID-19. His father has it as well, or had it. He is recovering now, though. He's not in a coma as well. But it's very unfortunate to hear. I really like Cat. I think he's really good for the league. I think he's an incredible player. And it's unfortunate to see how he's being affected by this as well. I hope his mom comes through it just fine.
Yeah, this is, it's the reality that we're facing right now with COVID-19 and all the stuff going on. It is really sad that both his parents got coronavirus. That's just, it's tough enough to have one. It sucks to have both. The father is recovering, but we really don't know what recovery is because there's possibly the second waves happening. So praying that it doesn't happen to his dad. The mother, I tried looking up some more updates and I still really haven't seen anything from the 24th of March, that 25th of March with the mom still being in the coma. So, praying she comes out of it.
Yeah.
Hoping that she gets the care that she needs, hoping that, as tough as it is to have his parents being inflicted with this and obviously being hospitalized and seriously affected with it, hoping that they both come out alive and okay so that this is the extent of the suffering for Karl-Anthony Towns. So, all of our thoughts and prayers go out to not only Karl-Anthony Towns, but the million people now that are suffering from it and all the people's families that have passed.
Mm-hmm.
This is crappy. It's a legitimate pandemic. It sucks. Wash your damn hands. Listen to the CDC. Stop buying all the toilet paper. That's the best advice.
Yeah, that is the best advice I can give.
So we're going to end the show on a high note. And we're going to talk about, we are not Patriots fans, Dave. Is that a secret? No.
No, it's not.
Go Jets. But we were the happiest guys. Tom Brady's gone. We love calling out the Patriots when they cheat, which they seem to do yearly. And, and Robert Kraft, Robert Kraft's kind of behind the scenes. We hear from him, but he's not that big time owner that's out there all the time.
The most recent time we heard from him, other than this, is the massage parlor.
Yes, he's an interesting character. But him and his son, the president of the team, Jonathan Kraft, both got together with Massachusetts State Governor Charlie Baker. And Charlie Baker had worked out a deal with the Chinese government to get some N95 masks over to Massachusetts because, like everywhere else that's battling this, that has a large number, there's a shortage of all this stuff. And they had no way of getting the masks over to Massachusetts. So he got in touch with the Krafts. They got involved, and the Patriots team plane flew to China itself. And this first shipment, they got 1.7 million masks overall. This first shipment they come back, they have to do it in 2 shipments. 1.2 million masks are going to be touching down. I think they touched down at some point today.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. I saw the picture.
They touched down today. So that's awesome. Crazy story about the whole entire situation. Now, China only cleared the plane to be on the tarmac for 3 hours. The crew members were not allowed to step out. They were only loading it on the ground. I don't know how accurate it is, but apparently they got off the ground with like 3 minutes to spare. God knows what the hell would have happened to them if they would have been there after 3 hours. But fortunately, they came back. They're safe. The masks are here. A second shipment should be coming. And also, Kraft and the governor of Massachusetts are sending 300,000 to New York City, going right to the Javits Center, which is now like a makeshift little hospital center. So in all this crappiness, there's some good stuff coming out of it. So
it's incredible thing they did. And honestly, we are seeing a lot of good unifying things coming out of this, just like that. And you search around, and yeah, it's a really, really bad time right now, but you're seeing a lot of good stories, a lot of people coming together, and that's what we have to do. We have to come together. We have to get through this together. It's going to be bad. It's going to get worse, most likely, from when we're recording this to like weeks from now. Hopefully not months. I'm going to say it's not, but hopefully not.
It's hopefully not, yeah.
But listen, in order to wade through the bad, you're going to have to look at the good a lot, and you're going to have to find ways through it. So incredible work by the Crafts and the Massachusetts governor to get those masks over here, and I commend them.
Rare time you'll hear me say this, but go Patriots.
Go Patriots, go Robert Kraft.
Yes. Now, I found a quote. It's not the most exciting quote, but we are going to finish off this show with the quote from Dick Pound. All right, this is about the postponement. On the basis of the information the IOC has, postponement has been decided. The parameters going forward have not been determined, but the games are not going to start on July 24th. That much I know. The words of wisdom from the one, the only, Dick Pound.
Of course you don't know that, Dick. Like what? Of course you know. Of course you know it's not going to happen.
Hey, Dick Pound knows.
He's the one I think that advocated the most for it to still happen, right?
He did, but then he also said, I think like he said last week that like, or 2 weeks ago, like, oh, it's going to be postponed. Then the IOC's like, we never said that.
Yeah.
So like Dick's ahead of the game.
Yeah,
Dick's there, Dick's pounding, and we're good to go.
My boy.
Oh my God. I think I might have to find 2 quotes. We might have to start off the show with Dick Pound quotes and end the show with Dick Pound quotes.
Maybe not that much.
I'm going to start like tweeting at Dick Pound just to like request a quote. See if he'll give us one.
I don't think that'll happen.
I'll tell him what we're doing. Like, we need a quote to end each show via Dick Pound. You think he's a nice guy like that?
Maybe. I don't know.
He's fantastic.
That, I can't.
He's
a
unicorn. He's a unicorn in a pack of horses.
He really is.
All right, but we'll actually end the show now, Dave. Dave, do you have any last words before we close out the show?
I'm sorry about how grainy my video is. I'm sorry if Alex didn't take out the part where he was singing.
I'm not taking that out. I am going to sit there. You cut out mid-rantish, and I paused, and then I sang. It was a beautiful thing. You know, I feel like we came together as a group of listeners and hosts. I think it happened without you.
I don't think
it happened without you, which made it even better.
Oh, wow. Maybe they still heard me. I don't know. But, yeah, I hope everyone can get through this slog that we're going through, this rut. And we'll see you next week with something. Maybe we'll become a gaming podcast for a little bit.
Oh, my God, we should. It's the only thing happening.
Yeah, really.
You know what? Let's just hope the NFL provides. We ask, and the NFL somehow always provides.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's what we have. Or maybe we'll just make up a bunch of hypotheticals that really won't happen.
I don't want to do that.
Why not? Let's become that podcast.
No.
Or let's just become like every other show with 2 guys and just argue. And you take the polar opposite of position to me and say ridiculous stuff, and I do that, and then we make a show about it. And then one of us leaves to a competitive network and does the same exact show.
No, it's only fun sometimes. Not every time.
It was fun in the beginning.
Exactly.
Skip and Stephen A. It was fun in the beginning.
It was.
Anyway. Everyone, you could tell that we're a little delirious from all this going on as well. Even though David's still working, he is delirious.
I'm always delirious.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm Alex Cuesta. He's David Cuesta. This is Cuesta Dose. You can find David on Twitter at dcuesta308, Instagram at Cuesta Cola. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @Aaron_Cuesta30. Find Sports Opinions on Twitter at SportsOpinion30, Instagram SportsOpinions30. Find us on Facebook. Listen to this podcast anywhere you can find a podcast, and watch our two ugly mugs on YouTube because we'll be there. But all right, Dave, again, anything else? Any UFC plugs? You're going to plug fights every week. That stopped, didn't it?
Well, Khabib isn't fighting. He's stuck in Russia. He can't come to fight, and Tony Ferguson's calling him a little pansy. Conor McGregor called him out. So, yeah, something did happen. There you go.
Can we do virtual fights? Can they just do UFC, the UFC video game and just do that?
I know. No. Even though I love that video game, it's like Madden.
You know what makes it even better? If they do the video game, but as they're playing, they just have somebody there to actually hit them where they're being hit in the video game.
That's stupid.
And then if they get knocked out on the side of the video game, you just have you have a camera. So if they see a knockout, Dave, I could have just, that could be something. That could be something, Dave.
No. You know how many spinning back fists you can hit in UFC 3 and the guy doesn't get knocked out?
Dave, can you imagine though?
Clean ones.
You do one in UFC 3 and then all of a sudden there's some random guy as he's standing there playing, just spinning back fists him in the face.
They wouldn't
and he just goes
that.
down playing the game. It would be fantastic, Dave.
Okay, that's it. This is too much.
Dave, I wonder what happened to chess boxing in Britain. They can't do that anymore. So sad.
I remember that was a thing. No.
All right, we're getting delirious. That really is going to end the show. Everyone, this is Cuesta Dos. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Have a good one all.